Hi everybody, Dom from Essential RC here, again with the H-Wing. We did our first video, which was really successful. Took off, one button, and it transitions to regular flight. You fly around. If you want, you can click the return to home button and it would come back and land. Or you can bring it back in normal flight mode, click the button when you're over your landing position, more or less. Click the button to go back to vertical hover mode and then descend and land. And it was really easy to operate, and I think that's the whole point with this. It's really for people who don't want to or can't or haven't any experience of flying drones or anything with a propeller on the front, which is great because it really is easy to fly. And the FPV 720p to the transmitter. Now, to be clear, this is the Pro version of the H-Wing, also called the SWAN-K1. I think this is the Pro version, so the screen is integrated into it and it runs the app. The standard version does not have that, and you don't have the screen, you have a cradle for your smartphone, and you have to run the app on that. So there's a bit more involved in setting up, but this is pretty straightforward. Battery, so you get an hour of flying an hour of flying if you don't hover too much, I would say. So let's go through the startup procedure and I'll give you a few hints and tips. All right, Jay, if you want to come over here, then we'll go through the startup sequence. So I'm going to turn on the transmitter first, middle button. And it does take a few seconds, maybe half a minute, for the app to start up.
Whilst that's starting up, this is the flight pack here, isn't it?
It is, Jay. Yes.
So this charges how? How are you charging this?
Well, they give you the charger for it to charge through that plug.
Okay.
And then the XT60 is what you plug into the H-Wing itself.
So it's quite a big lithium-ion pack, isn't it?
Yeah. It's how many cells is that?
Well, it's 8, but it's 4S2P, so it's actually only a 4S pack, just with 8 cells.
Okay, so we've got the app started up now, so we swipe up to unlock. So you can see it says disconnected at the moment, no video, but so we need to put the battery into here. I think you could actually do this first. So the one thing plugging in the battery, you plug in the XT60. And the important thing is that this plug must go in that slot there, otherwise you won't fit it in.
Excuse the helicopter going over.
Yeah, nice timing. So it is quite a snug fit. I wouldn't be opposed to putting a bit of tape over that to make sure it stays on, but if you do that and it's important that the XT60 goes inside the fuselage, then fine. Well, I've actually got on here as well as a Vi-Fly strobe as well. I thought I'd put that on here. Flashing light, different types of light sequences might be useful.
And these are standalone, aren't they?
Standalone unit, yeah. You plug it up via USB. There's a LiPo on the back, so I've just got it velcroed on.
And they can flash green, red, white, all sorts.
All sorts. We'll do that in a moment when we take off, just before we take off. So if we look at this now, you can see that it's connected, which is good. The map, it's not picked up, well, it says it's picked up 7 satellites, but it's not changed our position. It thinks we're in China at the moment, which we're certainly not. We're in Hampshire in the UK. So it's locked. You can see the orientation, pan and tilt here. There are animated icons here to show you that. You've got some telemetry down here, so we've got airspeed, flying speed, altitude, home, distance from home, and the overall flight time. You've got the FPV view here, I see. Did you see that? It's just acquired its position. which is great now that it's got 9 satellites.
And you can see the flying field we're on there.
Yep, yep, and you can zoom in and out. The thing with this is when you start it up for the first time and you're at your location for the first time, you have to download the maps. Now you have to connect to Wi-Fi to do that, so swipe down and you connect to Wi-Fi, click on that and you can connect to Wi-Fi.
But this controller can actually take a SIM card as well.
Well, we saw that, yeah.
So,
I'm not sure how that helps. How would that help?
Well, it would pull the data from the SIM card, so you wouldn't have to connect to Wi-Fi. It would just do it on its own.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So, but if you touch the camera, it'll enlarge that, won't it? So
yes, it does. Yeah. So that's the. You can see if I do that. That's the FPV image, so you can alternate while you're flying between the 2 views.
Okay, cool.
There's settings here. So for under flight, safe altitude in which to go to from hover, transition to flight mode. So we want to do that at a minimum altitude of 20 meters, I think that is. The geo radius to stay within, so we could increase that if we wanted to fly further. UK law stipulates we must stay in line of sight, so we won't increase that. Again, the limit on the height, the return altitude, trigger modes for warnings, the battery alert and the severe low battery alert. Control, you can switch between American and Japanese hands.
I think that's mode 1 and mode 2, isn't it?
And then you can calibrate the compass and the airspeed, which I've done already. Very easy to do. And some advanced settings under here. The one important thing in Europe and the UK here is that you must choose maps. It must be Google. AMAP is probably what they choose in China, I guess. And there's a newbie guide as well here that you can flick through before you fly for the first time. Well worth doing. It's actually quite good. So that is that. The one thing I'm not sure of is that is the battery indicator, and it's showing 0% at the moment, so I just don't think it's picked up that telemetry for some reason. But otherwise, I think we're ready to go. It looks here you can change the exposure resolution of the FPV camera, but I'm carrying a GoPro, so I'm not too worried about this. It's only 720p, or take a picture there. I'm not too worried about that because I'm using a GoPro, as I said. So that's how easy it is to set that up. And then, as I said, arming is just put it out in the location where you want to take off from and put it down and to the right. Now, the other important thing is I've started it up on the bench. I've started it up on the bench here, so it thinks this is the return to home location. Not great, because if I click that button and I want it to land at home, it's going to come and land in the pits area. Not a great idea. So when I want to switch it off, take it out to the middle of the flying field, plug it in again so that it records that as the return to home location. So let's go for a fly.
Was that done?
That was good. Return to home worked fine, and it auto landed as well. Let's turn the Vi-Fly strobe off before it blinds me. That's off. So now we've landed, I'll just show you this, Jay. If you can focus on that.
What have you drawn?
Well, that is the route that it took, the route that I flew, and the circle shows that the area that it would stay within the geo fence effectively, and I can still zoom in and in out of that to show that. So even if I tried to fly outside that geo fence, it wouldn't let me, it would stay within that, so which is very good if legally you have to fly within line of sight. I can see now that I've got 37% of my battery left, 16 satellites, and it's locked now, and we're on the ground. So there we go. That's another video of the Foxtech H-Wing SWAN-K1 in action. Thanks for watching this one. If you enjoy our flight test, then why not subscribe? If you do, click the bell icon for notifications. Thanks for watching. Thanks to Jay on camera.
No probs.
We'll see you for another one soon.
See you soon.
Bye.